That's where the conflict comes from. So it goes on to say, still oneness and unity go together. The unity of creation being part of the oneness of God. And the oneness of God is part of the unity of creation. A mind trained by separation can have no concept of this. So, if I have absolutely no concept of what I'm reading and talking about right now, the book just said, well, it's because you are a mind that's been trained by separation. So a mind that's been trained by separation does not understand concepts based on oneness and unity. So that's why I said, hear it, but don't try to understand it. So it goes on to say next, yet this same mind could still conceive of a creator. Even though I think I'm separate and I really don't understand all this oneness stuff, I can sort of flow with the idea that there is a creator. That obviously there's a creator because there's a creation. I mean, that's kind of like a no-brainer, isn't it?
Well, maybe.
You had to come from somewhere, sorry. So the whole idea of even if it was the Big Bang Theory accident and all the other stuff that some people think, that still came from somewhere. There had to be at this level it looks like there had to be some sort of a beginning, even though in reality there's no beginning and no end. But in this realm, there certainly seems to be beginnings and ends, and I'm really hoping that's true as far as the money out of the credit card companies. I hope that there's a beginning, and I hope there's an end to anger and separation and fear. I hope that there's an end to anything that I use to keep myself from being happy. Matter of fact, I don't have to worry about it. I know it's going to end, because this is where everything is made. Because I defy anybody in here to point out something that's permanent in form. Even your body. So even if your body doesn't seem to last, then it would have to be made and not created.
Wow.
Now, where did it come from? Where did your body come from? Well, it came from the sperm and the egg, you naming, and no, let's take it a little bit deeper than that. Where did you come from? You are not your body. Your body, we learned earlier, was the learning device that was given us to have this experience right now. That your body is what you learn through and experience through, but your body isn't you. That's why it doesn't last. It was just made for a specific purpose. And like anything else made for a specific purpose, it does not last. Deep. So I'm attached to something that doesn't last, and I feel guilty about doing things with something that doesn't last, and I judge myself by something that doesn't last. And I hope there's somebody out there that wants me for something that doesn't last and wants to hold this something that doesn't last and go places with this something that doesn't last. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm busy trying to make this something that doesn't last really look good.
Really good.
Right?
Really fun.
And I'm concerned about the something that doesn't last, what's going to happen to it tonight. Can I feed this something that doesn't last? So my learning device is now preoccupying my attention to the point that I've lost sight of my purpose. My purpose was, what do I have this learning device for? And all of a sudden, now the learning device, the body, has now become a goal in and of itself. Everything I do is about the learning device. So your learning device is actually here to allow you to experience separation from a perspective of joy and love until you recognize the oneness of who you are. So stop attacking your body by thinking that the things you do with your body are guilty and sinful. Those thoughts attack the health of your body. All pain, all sickness comes from attack, and it comes from guilt, and it comes from fear. Okay? So what you want to do is make sure that you're loving yourself, and you're loving even your perception of yourself. Because that will ensure the health of your body more than anything in the physical world that you can take as a pill or supplement or anything else that you do. All those things do is symbolize your willingness to be healed. They're just the things you do to show you're willing to be healed. So keep in mind that there's absolutely nothing more important to your health than your happiness. There's nothing more important to your health than your happiness. There's nothing more important to your health than your happiness. There's nothing more detrimental to your health than guilt. In a world where you're taught that if you feel guilty, you're a good person. So a good person tries to feel guilty a lot. So the good person beats themselves up more than the person who's actually attacking people sometimes. The person who doesn't like you and they know they don't like you and they want to hurt you, they don't feel like they feel guilty about a justified anger and upset with you. But the nice people, when they do something they think isn't right, they beat themselves up all day, all night, all week. Because that's what nice people do. They feel bad about everything they do. So keep in mind that there's nothing more important to your health than your happiness. And then it says, a mind that can conceive of a creator combined with a heart that yearns for knowledge of and union with that creator can bypass the need for the separate thoughts of the separated one's thought system. But you must be trained to do what? Bypass. We need a heart bypass.
Yeah.
Right? So it says can bypass the need for the separate thoughts of the separated one's thought system, but you must be trained to do this. Thus, your training begins with prayer. So the Course of Love is telling us that our training begins with praying. That our training begins with praying, and that when you focus on having your mind combined with your heart, while you're yearning for union, you will bypass all the changes you go through in the separated world. How do I bypass all the stuff that I'm going through in this world? I put my focus on uniting my mind with my heart and uniting with my Creator. I put my focus on joining my mind with my heart and then joining with that which created me. I use my time to focus on joining my mind to my heart so that I can connect with that which created me and bypass all of the conflict of the world. You know, sometimes it's like, you know, I've had the question many times that people, it's funny how many times lately someone has asked me, what do I like to do for fun? I've had about 3 or 4 people ask me that in the last month. They say, and they generally say the same thing. They generally say, but I know you like to do the truth, and I know you like to go to parties and go dancing. And I mean, it's funny. It's like I knew it was the same voice because it was saying the same thing to me. And the truth is, that is what I like to do for fun. But there's nothing that I focus on more than joining my mind with my heart and uniting with my Creator so that I don't have to go through all the stuff that I see everybody else going through and I see myself going through sometimes. I don't want to keep going through all the fear and the conflict of the world. I want to have relationships that really feel good to me and feel safe to me. I don't want to worry about money. I don't want to worry about the salmonella strain that they're finding out in the eggs right now. I don't want to deal with I don't want to deal with the politics and the political system and the same old stuff over and over and over again. That's not saying I might not vote if the Holy Spirit tells me to vote. But what my point is, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
And I'm sick and tired of the fear of the world broken into by periods that look like you're having a pretty good time. I want some real, consistent realness in my life and joy in my life. I can always go to the movie. I can always go to a dance. I can always take a trip. I can always buy some clothes. I can always get some more stuff. So for me to focus on those things as a primary focus, for me right now feels like a waste of my time. It's like, I can do that anytime. It doesn't take anything to do that. So why should I focus on making that any kind of priority? What needs to be a priority is me uniting my mind with my heart so that I can bypass the fear and pain and conflict of the world and know some joy and happiness that never ends.
Ooh, thank you, Earl.
That's, you know, to me, that makes a lot more sense. Does that make any sense to you? Aren't you tired of going through your merry-go-round of hell?
Yes.
Aren't you tired of the same stuff in a different form showing up to try to deal with again? Are you tired?
Mm-hmm.
Are you really tired for real? Or do you still have such a tolerance for pain that you're going to do it a little while longer? And then if you do, you innocent. I'm just telling you that I'm tired of it. I'm just telling you how I feel about it, you know. Because once you begin to let go of the idea of sin being real or guilt being real and understand that society and morality are made up things, then you can go ahead and do what you want to do in your body, with your body, in peace, because it doesn't have anything to do with you being condemned by the universe, condemned by God, or anything like that. So all of a sudden that doesn't become such an issue anymore. It's like if you have an appetite and you're hungry, you eat, and then you eat, and then you go do something else. But you don't focus on eating all day, every minute of the day. You see what I mean? So we were told last week that the creation is set up that whenever you have a need, the need will be met, no matter what that need is, so that you would get to the point that you don't even believe you have any needs. That's the way needs are fed. Then my ego goes, well, how come my needs are unmet? Well, the truth is, Earl, your need is being met. What do you mean? You have a need to suffer right now. And that need to suffer is being met by what you seems to be continual suffering. And then you ask yourself, well, where is my suffering coming from? Well, don't you know your suffering is coming from what you're telling yourself right now to make yourself feel bad? That your suffering is actually coming from what you're telling yourself right now?
Yeah.
That's where your suffering is. So evidently you need to suffer right now. And you're not going to stop suffering until that need is met. So when you've suffered enough, you will stop suffering.
Yeah.
You know, and I went, oh, okay, that's the way it works. Yeah. So therefore, you could decide to end your suffering right now. Well, how do I end my suffering right now? You stop thinking those crappy thoughts you're thinking about yourself right now. But it seems like I can't help it. Sometimes it seems like I just can't help it.